This is my first blog, and if you're wondering who I am, my name is Mike G. Michael Gibson from the Thoughtful Anarchist, and this is my first official blog post I have worked on for a bit. When I do one of these blog posts, it's going to be on my Patreon site, which will be minimum $3, and I like to call that just the tip to see what it's like. And then after that, you have the next level, which is $5. I'm really keeping it simple. $5, $10, $25. $5, I call it deeper is better. $10, I call it, concerned humans or concerned humanity. And if you want to partner with me at $25 a month, you get the full spectrum of everything that I have to offer. And that is called being a thoughtful anarchist. So thank you so much. Book will be coming out in 2018. Really excited about the possibility of what we can actually accomplish here as a community and with collaboration. So, without further ado, blog 001 of the Thoughtful Anarchist. There is a cognitive hack that enslaves humanity and is inescapable if you remain unaware of it. The consciousness is retarded by it, and the creative is bypassed by it. Murder is committed by it, and systems are upheld in its persistent global infection because of it. Humanity remains a slave in its utterance, and the fact that I seem alarmist to you is proof of its inherent existence. We see glimpses of potential within our species like dim stars shining in the night sky, people who are but a byword in today's conversations. People like Nikola Tesla, Hayakawa, Fresco, Orwell, Maxwell, Faraday, Einstein, R. Buckminster Fuller, James Baldwin, Carl Sagan, David Hume, etc. All of these men who thought beyond what we consider to be the norm are the giants upon which shoulders we stand. And to be joined on the journey, the likes of Elon Musk, Christopher Hitchens, Lawrence Krauss, Isaac Asimov, Peter Diamandis, Peter Joseph, Richard Dawkins, Daniel Dennett, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Seth MacFarlane, Sir Richard Branson, and so many others. People who are truly forward-thinking and out to create a better world. Just the community of change that exists around the world is amazing. Look at the Zeitgeist Movement. Go to thezeitgeistmovement.com. And take a look around at what's happening. Look at the change in tone and what's happening today because of these human beings. I assert that the majority of humankind wants a world that works. I mean, one without war, poverty, hunger, sickness, and terror. Unfortunately, we're not capable of this world without a software patch and a software upgrade because we've been hacked, okay? There's an illness, as I describe it, that is insidious. It hides itself in the phrases, that's just the way it is, or that's the way it's always been, or more recently, it is what it is. Consider that life is not binary. And these phrases or lines of code offer no other choice in the matter when they're uttered. My first question is, how did we inherit this idea without prejudice or skepticism? And next, I want to know why the worst of mankind has used it to profit from our misery while accepting payment for the lie they just told us. A case in point, taxes. Yeah, taxes. And like most people I know, somewhere in the middle of this conversation, like a knee-jerk reaction, the words, that's just the way it is, will eventually be spoken. Like being in the Matrix, there's a sense that something's not right here, but I just don't know what it is. Remember what it was like to be without language? Remember what it was like to communicate with grunts, cries, giggles, and hand gestures? And neither do I. But that was our existence at a very young age. We were effective at that age. And then we inherited the illness embedded deep within the programming that is downloaded into our little hard drives, starting with right and wrong. Language was inherited. There's no questioning it. Imagine spinning up a new computer for the first time and downloading your software package on it. Does the computer notice any embedded malware? Does it stop the download and say, nope, that bit of information is infected? No, it has no capacity to make that kind of a judgment. Rather, it downloads all of it, until malware detection software can be downloaded to scan the files and programs that were just installed. Once the MWS does a scan, malware software, does a scan, we begin to see alerts of a problematic program. I think this happens in humans around our teenage years when we begin to question everything. I know that's a loose analogy, but I must couple what I know about technology with what little I know about human psychiatry. I mean, to be fair, a tighter analogy could be given, and I hope to see comments that elaborate and enlighten, But for now, the idea that this is just the way things are is the malware inherently inserted into the software programming of these non-developed, newly born human units. It's inherited as all policies are inherited when implementing a new program. However, in this scenario, there is no firewall present to catch the infection. In effect, that firewall would be the parents, except they're infected too. The question so obviously next to be asked is, how do we protect ourselves from this malware? How do we protect our young, vulnerable children from this malware? What's wrong with the idea that it is what it is, or it's always been that way and it'll never change? I defer to your own ability to judge a matter. I would ask, is that true? And in that simple question lies the inoculation for this aberrant idea. We need to utilize skepticism, truth, logic, and science to understand and judge a matter. It is my assertion that the moment you ask the question, is that true, you begin to annihilate the virus implanted in your mind from a very early age. You may even find yourself questioning a great deal more than you ever thought possible, and many of the beliefs you held for your entire life may become extinct, traded in for beliefs that hold evidence in high regard, along with logic and reason. The struggle is real, and the sad truth is that many never lift their thoughts above simple life-sustaining decisions, ways to enjoy pleasure, or more likely, ways to avoid pain. When you begin to use the faculty of skepticism and utilize the tools found in the scientific method, you emancipate yourself from cultural ignorance and religious dogma. As a side note, many atheists find their unbelief down this path. All right, going back to my original thought. When we fail to scrutinize what we were taught growing up, we fail to empower ourselves. We lose the ability to create another way and to abolish the systems that no longer belong. We become enslaved to the systems that we never had a hand in designing or voting on. That's just the way it is surrendering to the system that is in place without even thinking about the impact on your life or your children's lives. It is surrendering without possibility for any other option. In essence, it is surrendering your sovereign humanity. What comes next is the confusion of mastering a system that makes no sense logistically or morally. Allow me to elaborate briefly. The systems we have all inherit include the political system, the banking system, the economic system, the tax system, religious systems, cultural systems, racial belief systems, privatized prison systems, the military-industrial complex. There's so many more. But which of these systems, just for a moment, which of these systems have you tried to master? The financial system? A cultural system? A religious system? Which of those systems have you really tried to master? And which of these systems have you had to become proficient in just to be successful? Well, the first one is the economic system. You had to get a job. And the second one is the tax system because you had to pay taxes. So you had to become proficient in both those systems just off the bat if you're an American. Can I ask you something? When filling out your tax form, were there any options for which of those systems you wanted to actually participate in, such as the military-industrial complex system or the private prisons system, which you do pay for with your tax dollars? What about the educational system that's failing, horribly failing? Did you get to choose that system? No, you didn't. You operate inside that system. And the question is, do these systems serve humanity or do they harm humanity? And if not, are these systems you would have chosen at birth? Are these systems you would choose every time you have to fill out your yearly W-4 withholdings? Do you get a choice as to which of those systems your money gets to participate in? No, you don't have a choice. Think about the resources of this planet and how those who control them use them for profit when the real cost of these resources is a fraction of what we are forced to pay for them. Think. Every human being who has ever been born accepts this as being just the way it is. We, the people, must rise up. We must think for ourselves, and we must begin to think with each other. Collaboration is the key. What I am saying is that we all have a common inheritance in the earth and a common responsibility to live harmoniously with nature. Do no harm to the planet or its inhabitants. We can achieve this if we are willing to work together and form a better union. Peter Joseph has written an incredible book called The New Human Rights Movement, Reinventing the Economy to End Oppression, that takes a hard look at what the current systems have brought us. Like real numbers, how inequitable these systems really are, how inherently racist, and how they are designed to produce a poverty class. He also discusses a viable option for ending poverty and war with a simple but proven method called a resource-based economy. I highly recommend you buy and read this book. And also take a look at the Zeitgeist movement. These inequities are front and center in our 2017 society. Take a look around, guys. The Trump administration is cutting taxes for the rich, removing health care for tens of millions of Americans, and raising taxes on the poor and the middle class. This is par for the course, though, okay? Don't you dare think Obama was any better. Remember who bailed out the banks? Remember who expanded the war on terror, dropping almost 30,000 bombs in Iraq and Afghanistan? What I am saying is the agenda has not changed. We, the people, are not paying attention to the facts, but hey, that's just the way it is. Some things will never change. So the next time you hear someone say that damning phrase in whatever form it takes, perhaps you will think about the following. Who said so? Who said that it's just the way it is? I mean, is that true? If I believe that, will I have surrendered my sovereign humanity for a lie? Because, no thank you. I am a sovereign human being. On another level, I really wish I could deliver this message with humor and levity. I just don't see the comedy in it. For the Thoughtful Anarchist, I'm Mike G. Folks, please take a look at our Patreon page. Go to thethoughtfulanarchist.com. That's singular. If you want to find us on Facebook, we are the Thoughtful Anarchists, and that is plural. Also, we also have a support page. You can go to support.thoughtfulanarchist.com if you'd like to become a patron of our Patreon page, as I put out more media, more videos, and also we begin to collectively come together as a community. I think that's going to be a powerful place for us to really stage up, if you know what I mean. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Again, this was Blog 001. Look for Blog 002. I'll try to make something a little more sexy for a name, but until then, thank you.